What's up, everyone? Welcome back. Okay, so socialist Bernie Sanders has recently said that he supports the idea of giving convicted felons or inmates sitting in prison the right to vote. When asked about the Boston bomber or murderist or a rapist, should they have the right to vote? Bernie Sanders believes so. He believes that they have the right to vote because they're still a member of our society and they're still American citizens and their voices should be heard. Their voices absolutely should not be heard. They are not a member of society. They were removed from our society. These are people that violated other people's rights and now they're placed in prison. What is prison? It's a punishment. And how do we punish people? We punish them by removing their rights. We strip them of their rights because of the crime that they've committed. They violated someone else's rights. Now we strip them of their rights in order to punish them for what they've done. We don't give them rights back because we think it's the right thing to do. And why did he pick the voting rights to give back to give to inmates? Why not give them a different right? Why don't we give them the right to bear arms, right? Why did you pick voting? And we know why he picked giving inmates the right to vote. You did that because you want to pander and you want to out-woke everyone and you want them to vote for you and you want to push your cause. This is a form of bribery. That's all this really is. You want people to vote for you. So you're saying that you want to allow people, inmates to vote. It's a real crazy idea with the left. I don't know why they view inmates as victims of society and victims of us. Like we're victimizing them, and it's not fair what we're doing to inmates. I mean, I can never understand this. These are people that raped and killed, and you think that they're being treated unfair. It's just I couldn't understand it for the life of me. So. I think Bernie should do. I think he should go down to a women's support group, and I think he needs to sit down with women who are trying to find any kind of therapy or any kind of comfort and trying to, get out of the depression they're in after being victims of sexual assault. These are women who are damaged emotionally and mentally, and they're there looking for support. I think he should go down to one of these groups, and I think he should look these women in their eyes and tell them that the man who raped them should have the right to vote. I think that's what Bernie Sanders should do. I think he should sit down with men who their daughters were raped and killed, of women of all ages, even little girls who were raped and killed. And I think he should look these men and these fathers in the eyes and say the person who murdered and raped your daughter should have the right to vote. I think he should sit down with family members of victims of terrorism and say, I think that the terrorist who killed your child should have the right to vote. He won't do that, right? He'll stand on his soapbox and say something like this while he's running for office, but he won't actually meet with the people who are going through something, who are suffering from what has happened to them, and tell them how the person who's responsible for that should have the right to vote. What's funny? Who didn't have the right to vote? Who didn't have the right to vote was the woman who was being raped at that moment by the rapist. She didn't have any rights at all, right? So, like here in New York City, one of the popular ways of these animals to rape women is to follow them into a building. We have buildings all over the place, right? So, the women get followed into a building by a man. Maybe they get into the elevator, and then he assaults her and drags her into the staircase and rapes her. So, there's multiple rights of hers violated right there on the spot, right? Like you physically assaulted her. That's one right of hers. Like you don't have the right to touch her, right? Here you are assaulting her. That's one right you violated. Then you drag her against her will into the staircase, right? Which is another right of hers. I mean, she didn't vote to go into the staircase with you. Then you strip her naked. She didn't vote to have her clothes taken off, right? And then you have sex with her against her will. So there's just multiple rights that you just violated of this poor woman. But Sanders thinks that this man, after going to prison, should have the right to vote. He thinks that there's some virtue in this. He has no philosophical reasoning for why he should have the right to vote, at least not a good one. There's no objective morality behind why allowing an inmate to vote at all. I mean, this is just, only the low-hanging fruit voters would think that this is a good idea. Only the low-hanging fruit, individuals support Bernie Sanders to begin with. I mean, this is a man who recently came out, and pretty much admitted that he's a 1%er and that he's a millionaire. Meanwhile, he spent the whole career demonizing the 1%ers and demonizing millionaires because they won't share their wealth. And now here is Sanders. He's a 1%er himself. He's a millionaire and he won't share his wealth. It's just the common hypocrisy and the common nonsensical ideas coming from the progressive woke socialist movement that they are. They never make any sense, and that's why he's not going to win the primaries. He's not going to win the presidency in 2020. Biden has finally thrown his hat into the ring, and they say he's already raised more money than anyone else on the left. Chances are Biden is going to win the primary because there's more middle of the road Democrats, more business Democrats that are going to choose Biden over socialist Sanders. Biden does, Creepy Joe doesn't have my vote, but I am happy to see that the progressive movement cannot win the primary. At least it gives me at least a little bit of hope for the future that the progressives cannot do it, and that hopefully they're a dying class because at this point they're nothing more than a clown show. I can't believe that there's people in 2019 that can still fall for any of the nonsense coming out of the mouths of Bernie Sanders and Kamala Harris and the rest of the clowns over there in the circus. But yeah, it is a terrible idea to have inmates vote. They don't have the right to vote. They violated other people's rights. Their opinion, their voices does not count. We don't care what they have to say. Not until at least they pay their debt to society and prove that they're reformed. Then maybe we can talk about them having a voice. Until then, they should remain silent. They don't count as human beings. You raped a person. You murdered innocent people. You're a subhuman in my opinion. I don't take you as anything else more than an animal for doing stuff like that. There's no reason why we should respect your right to vote or your respect the right to be heard. You shouldn't even have the right to be seen. Period in society for the crime you've committed. We're not talking about a guy who maybe stole a check and wrote a check to himself, and now he gets arrested and he goes to jail for a couple months for bank fraud or something like that or whatever. We're talking about a person who rapes and kills. This is not a person that should be in society in any way, shape, or form. They should just be eliminated from our society for forever. And that's it. We can't have a dangerous person like that in our society. To keep everyone safe, let's eliminate our society of people like that. So, okay, that's all I have. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the bell, and I will see you on the next video.